Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with us the Governor of Lagos State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat. Can we please give him a round of applause? Can we please have the national anthem? Chief Host, President and Chairman of Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Directors in Nigeria, Alhaji Tijani Borodo, fellow Chartered Institute of Directors, our office bearers, Mr. Detunjo Ibanji, First Vice President, Mrs. Amina Oyagbala, Second Vice President, Mrs. Fumio Tunji, Honorary Treasurer, Dr. Deinka Hazan, FCIoD, Honorary Legal Advisor, and Dr. Jidema, distinguished fellow Chartered Institute of Directors, our immediate past president. The chairman of the occasion, Honorable Justice Amina Audi, CFR, retired Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. A guest of honor, Professor Tunji Olaoba, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, FCIoD, ably represented by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Hamzat. Our guest speaker, Mrs. Hadiza Bala Usman, our revered past presidents, distinguished fellows of the Institute, eminent members of the Governing Council of the Institute, our Director General, CEO, Mr. Bamidele Alimi, fellow Chartered Institute of Director, the Vice Chairman, National Organizing Committee, Otumba Bimbo Ashiru, along with all the distinguished members of the National Organizing Committee. We welcome you along with all the other guests, and we do hope that you will have a good evening. What a remarkable journey this conference has been over the last 2 days. And together we've navigated a wealth of insights, engaged in meaningful dialogue, and made connections that will no doubt echo across the boardrooms and organizations we serve, all of which has made this gathering one for the books. It is a pleasure to say good evening to you all at the conference grand finale, an evening to unwind, reflect, and celebrate the spirit of progress that has been ignited together. To formally kick off this closing dinner, we are honored to have the Vice Chairman of our esteemed Conference National Organizing Committee, representing the entire conference leadership team. Together, they've championed a shared vision of excellence, bringing the worlds of business and government together for constructive dialogue and impactful outcomes. Please join me in welcoming Otumba Bimbo Ashiru on stage to share a few words of welcome.
I'm actually here to represent the chairman of the organizing committee. I'm the vice chairman. So I will read the speech as a loyal number 2 man. I will read it as been said here. The chairman, the chief host, Alhaji Tijani Borodo, LLM, FCIoD, and is the president and chairman of the council. The chairman of today, retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Amina, we've been having problem in your pronunciation, either Agui or Awigi. I said I will personally ask so that I will get it right. It's Awigi. Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, who is heavily represented here by my dear brother, Dr. Obafemi Amsat, former Nigeria, I think I would say Deputy Chief of Staff and former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Ibrahim Gambari. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm pleased to welcome you all on behalf of the National Organizing Committee to this highly anticipated Business Meets Government dinner. A fitting close to the 2024 Annual Directors Conference of our great institute tonight. We gather as leaders from the private and public sectors, united by a shared commitment to the future of this nation. The dinner is a crucial platform for dialogue, collaboration, and progress. The theme of our conference has resonated strongly with the challenges and opportunities facing our nation today. We have discussed innovation, governance, and leadership. But now, we must focus on the collective action required to drive meaningful change. Tonight's networking between business leaders, policymakers, in examining and ensuring the alignment goals for the purpose of our great nation. Our guest speaker, Adisa Bala Usman, Special Advisor to the President on Policy Coordination, experience in both public and private sectors, make her fit and proper for this event. I look forward to your insights. I'm not sure she's not here. She's not here yet. Tonight presents a unique opportunity for direct engagement, a space where ideas, insights, and solutions can be exchanged. Our aim is simple: to reinforce the importance of collaboration and to chart a course forward that benefits all Nigerians. With public sector favorable policies and regulatory frameworks, and the private sector's innovation and execution, we can create lasting value. We have many distinguished leaders in this room tonight who have shaping industries, driving reforms, and steering policies. I encourage each and every one of you to seize this opportunity to build bridges and also network to lay the groundwork for partnerships that will yield tangible results for the growth and development of this nation. Before I close, on behalf of the 2024 National Organizing Committee, I would like to thank the members of the Governing Council, led by the President, Alhaji Tijani M. Borodo, LLM, FCS, CIoD, for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. And I want to crave your indulgence, Mr. President, that the members of this committee, I want them to stand up wherever they are, and they should probably come up to be seen and probably quickly take a picture, because my speech is not much. Because I can tell you, for the past 2 years, members of these committees have been meeting, the last one and this one, which is the final one. And we are all from different areas. Some people are in Lagos, Abuja, and we meet virtually every week or other week on Zoom. And I remember one of the members, she was having a meeting in Kaduna, and she was switching in between. I think on that note, they deserve a round of applause, and they should please come out now, because I don't want us to waste so much time. 5 minutes, and Mr. President, the Vice President, the two Vice Presidents and members of the executive come up, just take a picture with the President. On that note, I want to thank you for being here and for giving us the opportunity to serve this committee. Thank you very much, and God bless. Yes, you want to come out.
Please welcome on stage the President and Chairman of the Governing Council, Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria, Alhaji Tijani Mborodu, LLM, Fellow Chartered Institute of Directors, for his address. Sir, can we give him a round of applause as he comes back on stage?
Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Those of us that were here in the evening, we got a piece of advice by one of the speakers who said, "You do your part and I do my own." Otumba, you've done yours, I'm doing mine now. The special guest of honor, Professor Tunji Olako, Chairman, Federal Civil Service Commission, ably represented by Ambassador Aminu Nabegu, the Chairman of the occasion, my Lord, retired Justice Amina Ogi, JSC, the guest speaker, Mrs. Hadiza Bala Usman, Special Advisor to the President on Policy and Coordination. We are still expecting her representative. Unfortunately, she will not be here. The representative is on his way. His Excellency, Mr. Dapo Abiodun, Governor of Ogun State. His Excellency, Mr. Alex Oti, Governor Abia State. His Excellency, Engineer Abbo Yusuf, Governor Kano State, ably represented by Alhaji Usman Bala Mohammed, the Senior Special Advisor. His Excellency, Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, FCIoD, ably represented by Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, the Deputy Governor. His Excellency, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, former Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, past and present members of the Governing Council, the past presidents here, fellows and members of the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria, our cherished associates, partners, and sponsors. On behalf of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria, I warmly welcome you all to the climax of the 2024 Annual Directors Conference, the much awaited, much anticipated business meets government dinner. Tonight's gathering is an embodiment of the theme that has run through the conference: collaboration for development. Tonight, in this room, we bring together the best minds from the public and private sectors, those who shape policy and those who drive enterprise. Our goal is simple: to foster a deeper partnership that will steer our nation towards sustainable economic prosperity. We have lined up distinguished personalities to enrich our conversations this night. I would therefore like to recognize and welcome the special guest of honor, a renowned professor of public policy, Professor Tunji Olako, the chairman of Federal Civil Service Commission, ably represented by Ambassador Aminu Nabegu, retired Justice Amina Ogi, my Lord, JSC. Permit me to also recognize our guest speaker, Hajia Hadiza Bala Usman, Special Advisor to the President on policy coordination. We're expecting her representative, as I said, and the excellencies, the governor of Ogun State, the governor of Abia State, the governor of Kano State, and of course, our governor, Mr. Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Hamzat. Given the presence of these eminent personalities, I'm confident that tonight's conversation will be engaging and fruitful to all of us. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, our nation is pivotal in Africa's economic prosperity and journey. With emerging technologies, shifting global dynamics, and evolving market demands, the need for seamless cooperation between the private and public sector cannot be overemphasized. This partnership between government and private sectors will, with its dynamism, innovation, and capacity for growth, must work in concert with government institutions to create an enabling environment for sustainable development. This is not just a goal, it is a necessity if we are to achieve our economic aspirations as a nation. As we meet this evening, we must confront the reality of global economic turbulence, self-inflicted wars, and economic uncertainties. The IMF, in June 2024, forecast global growth to remain steady at 3.2% for 2024 and 2025, unchanged from 2023 despite rumors of wars. Advanced economies are expected to experience a slight uptick, with growth accelerating from 1.6% to 1.7% in the year 2024. However, emerging markets like ours face a marginal slowdown, with growth tempering from 4.3 to 4.2 during the same period, expected to remain, and is expected to remain so in 2025. These projections align with estimates from other institutions, which also predict similar patterns, with advanced economies seeing modest gains and emerging markets grappling with slight reductions. These trends reflect the varying economic conditions across regions, shaped by local factors such as inflation, consumer demands, and geographical tensions. Back home in Nigeria, the challenges we face are no less daunting. IMF has predicted a modest 3.3 GDP growth for Nigeria in 2024 and 3% by 2025, driven largely by non-oil sector. The growth is lower than projections for emerging markets and grossly insufficient to address the wandering economic gaps of our nation. Also, inflation, hovering around 32%, continues to defy measures to mitigate it, with weaker naira and rising food and energy prices being the main drivers. Despite government efforts to stabilize the economy, these inflationary pressures have significantly impacted the purchasing power of the average Nigerian in this country. This has further raised the cost of living. Policymakers are focusing on policy measures to curb inflation and grow the economy for sustained development, but efforts are yet to bring substantial relief. However, it is not all negative. Our resilient private sector continues to provide hope. Key sectors such as technology, agriculture, and manufacturing are showing signs of robust expansion, contributing to over 94% of the non-oil sector or GDP. The oil sector, too, has witnessed a paradigm shift, as our nation now has an international oil company with Owando PLC acquisition of Nigerian Ajif Oil Company and more of the like. Despite these pockets of growth, however, it is clear that the business environment remains challenging by policy inconsistencies, infrastructural deficit, and bureaucratic bottlenecks. Our ease of doing business ranking has improved, but we still lag behind many of our African peers. Tonight's gathering, therefore, becomes pivotal on how we can, as leaders in government and business, align our visions and actions to overcome these barriers. As we reflect on the state of our economy, one message becomes clear: neither government nor business single-handedly can drive the transformation Nigeria requires. We must work together. Public-private partnerships have been successful in other climes, and we must deepen our commitment to such collaboration. The journey through the road of economic recovery, growth, and development won't be a smooth ride without the partnership between the government and the business leaders. Our role as business leaders is to bring forth the innovation, agility, and capacity necessary for growth. The government, on the other hand, must create an enabling environment through policies that are clear, consistent, and supportive of business. As an institute, the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria remains committed to facilitating dialogue between both sectors and advocating policies that promote good governance and economic growth. The dinner provides the platform for candid conversations about the way forward. The challenges we face, be it infrastructure, human capital development, or governance, require collective action. We cannot afford to operate in silos. As we engage with one another, I encourage us to think about the long-term partnership that can be forged. Creating a Nigeria where business thrive and citizens enjoy higher quality of life should be our shared vision at this table, at this conference. In conclusion, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you for taking the time to be here tonight. Our economic challenges are great, but I do not doubt that our collective wisdom, experience, and commitment to progress are greater and will see us through. Let this dinner serve as a reminder that our goals are intertwined. Our success depends on how well we collaborate. We can truly build a nation that is competitive on the global stage and inclusive for all citizens if we are united in purpose. Thank you and enjoy the dinner.
That seems to be the latest slogan now, do your part. Distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the chairman of this occasion to take the stage a highly respected Nigerian jurist, celebrated for her dedication and integrity throughout her distinguished judicial career. A graduate of the University of Ife, she began her journey as a legal aid counsel before advancing through roles at Ahmadu Bello University, the Nigerian Law School, and various courts, culminating in her 2016 appointment to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Recognized with the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic in 2014, she remains an inspiring figure in the legal field and a proud mother to accomplished children. She's already on stage. May I ask that we please give Honorable Justice Amina Aogi Sepan a round of applause.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and the wonderful delegates to this CIoD conference, I kept asking myself and asking everybody, I wonder why the Institute of Directors decided to ask me to chair this occasion. And they sent me the letter since June. Well, I hope I will live up to whatever it is, because it's like I'm thrown from the courtroom where we're used to a different, everything completely different, and the Institute wants to throw me into the business world for me to see another side altogether. But it's been a wonderful experience because I was here yesterday and it was incredible. But I'll still come to it. Now, I started with a quotation by Warren Buffett. I'm sure you all know him. He's considered the king of investment. But he said something when I was thinking about what to say today. I came across his quote that really touched the chord. He said, someone sitting in the shade today, someone is sitting on the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Then, the history of the Chartered Institute of Directors. May 1983 is when they founded it. It's been recognized as an influential and respected membership organization. Now, if we look at what he said, and the founding members 40 years ago, some of them may still be here, some have long gone, and what would we say? They did their part, so that 40 years later, the Institute would get itself chartered. It took 40 years, another May 2023, when it was granted a charter status to become the Chartered Institute of Nigeria, Directors Nigeria, by an act of the National Assembly. One of its objectives, and I quote, is to uphold, maintain, and improve the economic climate for the promotion of the concepts of corporate entity personality, free enterprise, the welfare of the state, and stable government in respect thereof, quote and unquote. That's a very laudable, among so many of the objectives. And so when you look at that particular objective and the theme of this year's conference, you can see that it's rhymed in to make sure that the conference is part of, to build up on what it has put itself to be. And to this end, as I said, the theme of this year's conference is apt: good governance as a catalyst for economic recovery, growth, and development. Now, good governance, a lot of people have spoken all through. You heard it yesterday, today, in different forms. Even the president just referred to it as well. But basically, you could say, for the purpose of the dinner speech, and for those who were not there today, yesterday and today, and have come only for the dinner, good governance is a key component of long-term economic growth, development. It incorporates values. These are just simple common sense things. Good governance incorporates values like responsibility, openness, inclusion, and the rule of law. By ensuring that companies, governments, and public institutions are held accountable, these principles promote conditions that support long-term prosperity and economic stability. In other words, Good governance affords the citizenry of any country the certainty of an environment most conducive to the growth of to the pursuit of economic growth, as well as the consistent development of human capital required to drive and sustain economic growth. It's one thing to set out the laws, it's one thing to put up the agencies, it's one thing to say, oh, we have rules and regulations, but hey, where are the human beings? Where's the human capital to drive it, to be able to make sure that these things work? Let me digress here. Yesterday, like I said, it was wonderful to be here yesterday to listen. And I know that I think it's Governor Fashola that referred to the Japa syndrome. Incidentally, I was his lecturer in law school, and so I count he's one of my students that I take pride in, and he did an excellent job yesterday. Not only he was able to use his experience to be able to give us instances to use his experience across the board in everything to be able to speak to us yesterday graphically, explicitly, with experience and with everything that anybody could grasp. But what I'm saying is that you need, quite apart from all those things, what is it that we say? Consistent development of human capital required to drive and sustain economic growth. What are we seeing? The Japa syndrome. We have brilliant people carrying themselves out there and living. I don't want us to, let me stay up front, that I don't sanction, I don't agree with the sentiment that says that the best have gone out and they've left us behind here. No, I would rather look at it that those that are remained in Nigeria and are slugging it out are rugged. They are the tough that gets going when things get rough. In the end of the day, those that have taken up, they've lost the opportunity to plant seeds, to grow those trees that many years on, when people are eating from the fruit or sitting under the shade, they can say, yes, I took part in it. They've run off. They've gone to other places where they are not considered. They're just statistics. They get there, when you read what's going on every day, when they get there, they are killing their wives, when their wives do well, better than them. You read it every day. Those that their wives will now go there, get their fingers, throw them out, using the laws over there, which say that the wife is entitled to everything. They throw them out. So what have these young people done? They have cut short their fruitful existence. They have allowed themselves to now go not using all that God has given you to use, not using the gifts and the abilities and everything that they have. And if I still want to use the thing of the tree, not being here to plant seeds that will grow into huge trees for the rest of Nigeria. I will say this, history, we've seen empires rise and fall. Ottoman Empire, Roman Empire, Persia, all those empires, they've come and gone. I strongly believe, and I pray fervently, that one day Africa will take its stage, on the African stage. And guess who will lead? Who will be out there? Nigerians. We have something that other people don't have. You come into this country, the vibrancy, the energy, you can actually just feel, you go to other African countries, you just have this laid back thing. Here, it's endemic, it's in our DNA. Even the way we dress, the rest of the African women, like, what is this? A Nigerian woman can go to the market wearing this. It's just normal. So we have all these things, and we should be ready to be able to do those things. And this is when we come to, what are you all doing here? We're talking about the business world interacting with the government, and yet, from what I saw yesterday, both all of you what's the word, cross carpet all the time. The governor of Lagos is a fellow of this institute. Some of you, I know I saw Alhaji Umaru yesterday of the NDIC. He's back here. So there's this cross-fertilization. You're going there, you're coming back. What are you going to talk about to see how do you pay what do you use what you have put together to be able to see how do we save these young people from themselves? One thing I must say to all of you, and I was very impressed yesterday, incredible, the cohesion, the togetherness. I didn't hear or see any tribal tension, religious tension, north-south dichotomy, a Hausa man, an Igbo man, a Yoruba. No, there is this common purpose that all of you have. It's a certain pride in the institute. What fostered it, I don't know. I'm just here to deliver a speech today. But I can tell you that I was very, very, very impressed with the brotherhood and togetherness and everything that I saw yesterday. And so it is, everything I'm trying to say would be to say, let me tap into it. Let me remind you, in case you don't know, that it's a great institution with great people. And therefore, you should be able to do something that will take your institute out, up, and into another realm altogether. Because you have the foundation. And you have what I started with, the human capital required to drive and sustain economic growth. Anyway, for the business people here, I could say, I will refer to the key performance indicators. That is the effect of good governance. What are the key performance indicators? 1, that private initiative is welcome and nurtured. 2, entrepreneurs and investments need not fear expropriation of their assets. 3, there is respect for the sanctity of contracts. 4, capacity to enforce contractual obligations. Then the next one, there are open and transparent processes for public tenders. And finally, there are clear licensing and regulatory procedures. The government, through various laws and agencies, play an important role in the supervision and regulations of in businesses. These are to ensure that the ease of doing business for investors, entrepreneurs, business-oriented persons, as well as safeguarding the interest of their customers. It's not just them. We have laws and regulations and agencies that also want to protect the interest of the customers of all these businesses. So with that correlation between the business people and the government, it's always very, very important that the business side of people here are engaged in a meaningful relationship with the government. So government and business relationships, there are different ways that they view themselves. I set out 3 here. One perspective is for businesses to consider business and government on 2 sides. And that is in opposition to each other. You do your own, I do my own. And so everybody will do their own thing. This perspective often focuses on businesses' interaction with government it often focuses their attention on efforts to minimize government and reduce the cost and burdens on private businesses and the general economy associated with government taxes, regulations, and policies. A second perspective, and I quote, is that government should favor businesses and incentivize business performance and investment because businesses are the main source of jobs, innovation, and societal economic well-being. Therefore, government should support businesses with grants, tax credit, and subsidies, unquote. A third view is that the relationship between business and government relation is business in partnership with governorship in addressing societal matters, in contrast to the government being the regulator to ensure that businesses act in a socially responsible manner. Using the example I gave earlier about our young people that have jackpotting out of the country, the legal profession and the lawyers here would know, for you to be an SAN, like Senior Advocate of Nigeria, there are certain guidelines that you must follow. There was a time we had all our prisons overflowing with people sentenced to death and all those type of things. No lawyers, the Legal Aid Council could not cope. Nobody could. And then they came up with this, they came up with this guideline that all those people who did pro bono criminal cases, they had been doing it pro bono. That year, they scaled through the group. Next thing, all of them became SANs that year. Those who didn't have such cases were left. Before you say Jack Robinson, all the lawyers now are pursuing attorney generals all over the country. Can you please aside, give us fiat to this case, give us fiat to do this case. So another one just before I retired last year, we have, if I tell you at the Supreme Court, we're still dealing, as at the time I left, we were still dealing with 2008, 2007 matters. Because money, when it comes to elections, business things, anything financial, it takes precedence. So those cases were there. So they came up again with another guideline that said, if a matter has been languishing at the Supreme Court for 7 years and more, and the lawyers on both sides agree to settle it and let it get out of the court docket, it will be added as part of what will make them SANs. Like I said, they did it today. By Monday, my lords, we were applying application to dismiss the suit because the parties have, and I remember that I had just read that was a new guideline, and I remember saying, oh, because of this new guideline, and so that's how suddenly you have them now resolved. So if we have, let me put you through the way I'm thinking. I sat down here somewhere there yesterday going through their program, and I saw all these courses that you had. When you look at it initially, can you see the sums of money? Some of them 20-something million for how many months course, 7 million, $30,000, how many? But you look at it, when you looked at the different programs that they had, and you look, I said, if I had money, these are the kind of things I would say, hey, maybe I should sponsor some people. Because when with the way I saw what they wrote about what you would learn in all those programs, that is something that can get some young man ready for the future tomorrow. So if you're following my thinking, what is the point of all of you now being in doing all these things here? If you don't say, for instance, hey, companies or businesses or anybody that is able to say, let's take some of these people that are jackpotting out and give them opportunities. Because like I told you, these are brilliant people. Nigerians are brilliant. Make a law today. Just let them pass a law today. Next 5 minutes, the loopholes, they found it. Somebody is going to make billions out of that law that just came into effect. A law that was brought in to be able to guide things this way becomes a loophole for somebody to make money out of. When you think of your classmates who were troublesome, like me, I can tell you of Professor Sagi, who was my lecturer in Ife. And when I was chairman of Field Bank Tribunal, he appeared before me and he stands up to say, my Lord, you're the eighth wonder of this world. I knew you were brilliant, but I didn't think you would do anything with it. That's what Prof tells me in court. At secondary school, the Reverend Mother would always it's me they are calling on for one thing or the other. So if you check your children that are bright, that are intelligent, it is so, something burning in there. And if you don't channel it right, they will find their way to do the negative things that we are doing. So we should be able to be thinking ahead and thinking, in what way do we just watch these young people destroy themselves this way? Or do we find a way as an institute that the whole aims and objectives, you can parley with government. Some of you are in and out of government and back again, parley with government. Find a way to be able to say, what do we do to be able to add something and save these children from ourselves? One day we're all gone, and we're leaving these children for them. If you don't channel it right, you don't give them positive ways in which to use the brain that they have, they are just going to look for some which other way to go, and they're destroying themselves for nothing, for a future that we want. Like I said, in everything I'm saying, I want you to remember what I started with. Someone is sitting under a shade because someone planted a tree a long time ago. And that is what I would like all of us to try and remember. While we are where we are at, let us not see tomorrow of, let me get what I can now. Hey, we've seen it happen all the time. You make all that money, you die today, tomorrow everybody's crying. Next week, what are you reading? The families are fighting over your money. There are all kinds of things going out. So why are you amassing that money that will be of no use when you can now do something as an institute or individually or something to say, let us do. I hope, anyway, I'm not a preacher here, but I'm just trying to say that since you've given me the opportunity to come here, let me at least chip in my own bit and say that we should be able to see what you guys can do with the collaboration, because your institute is super. That one I can tell you. So now, I would say, basically, once a business has an understanding of how government affects its operations, they can do different things. You have some people who would react after the policy has been passed, the reactive reaction. That is, after policy has been passed, you start to run around to see how to run about it. You have those that would be in a position they get themselves involved with the government policymakers and actors and get them to pass policies that will help their business or serve the interest of their business. Then you have, of course, those that will try to, they practice, you know that something is coming, and then you change the business practice to be able to maximize. All of it is all about selfish interest for the company or the individual. What can we make out of these government policies? But bottom line is, like Abiola, remember Abiola and all his proverbs? You cannot clap with one hand. That one, including when he said you can't shave a man's head in his absence. He also used to say you can't clap with one hand. Basically, you're here to network. Business people, government people, wherever you're all seated. You can't clap with one hand. You're both going to have to clap together. You're going to have to collaborate. You're going to have to see what you can do. I was touched with what Governor Fashola said yesterday about how first thing they had to do was to clear the rubbish. Yeah, dustbins cleared. They did that, then people started complaining that they are blocking traffic. So they said, okay, do it at night. They put it to do it at night. The people loading the trucks and all can't see in the night, they can't do it. They put street lights. Not only are they able to clear the rubbish, but all the shops that used to close early suddenly could stay open. And like he said, the people selling kose, that is akara, and were now in business because they could make more money selling it at night with the traffic lights. That is what collaboration between all of you do. It feeds, it helps, it's good for everybody. So business can't say we are on our side, government people on this side and say we're on that side. No, at some point you have to come together. And I was also here when the Minister of National Planning, who represented the President, said that they are looking forward to policies from you, that they would actually act on it, work on it. They need that. I hope my message, what I'm trying to say, is going through. But basically, like I said, I don't want to now go too much because I'm supposed to be speaking for 5 minutes. But I want us to leave this place. I want us all to leave this place saying, you know how they say planting trees, desert encroachment. That, once you can do that, once you plant trees, desert doesn't come in. So let's just look at all of ourselves today, whatever networking, whatever collaboration, whatever it is that came out of it. When we leave here, it will seem as if whatever comes out of it, that yes, you planted a tree, you won't be there to see it grow, you may not be there to see what it's become, but yours is to do what you have to do today and leave the rest for the future to enjoy. Thank you so very much, and thank you for listening.
Awesome. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now to our special guests of honor, whose presence have added immense value to our events, for which we are truly grateful. I'd like to ask that you please join me as I invite a renowned public policy expert and former civil servant whose impactful career spans different roles and continues to shape Nigeria's governance landscape with his expertise and unwavering dedication to reform. Please welcome Professor Tunji Olaopa, Chairman, Federal Civil Service Commission, and he is this evening represented by Ambassador Aminu Nabigu, Member, Chartered Institute of Directors.
Your Excellencies, a distinguished delegate, I will start by correcting the MC. I'm now a fellow. I was among those decorated Duarans and As Fellowship induction. I'm here to represent Professor. First of all, Mr. Chairman and the Chairman of the occasion, please allow me to stand on the existing protocol. As a former Foreign Service officer, normally we are expected to observe all the protocols. But standing on the existing protocol has become a universal globally now that people copy from Nigeria. I've had people standing on the existing protocol as far as Japan, where I once served. I was at a conference there. Somebody stood and said, if you can stand on the existing protocol. And I looked very carefully to see whether he is a Nigerian, but he happens to be from one of the Western countries. All the same, I would like to recognize a few people here. The Justice, Deputy Governor, representative of Kano State, and most importantly, my former teacher and my minister, Professor Gambari, who is here. Professor Olopa is unavoidably absent from this occasion for the fact that right now, the Civil Service Commission is in the midst of a process of promoting officers at the directorate cadre level to the next level. And right now, we are at the end of that process, which involves oral interview, for those aspiring to be directors. And as a chairman, he has to take all the marks of all the people who are invited for that process. And this is a process that we started, that's the promotion exercise itself. We started it about 4 months ago. Unfortunately, we inherited a system that has not undergone some reforms to modernize it. But luckily, Professor Olopa, being a professor of public service, he came with a determination to change the story. We are right now trying to digitalize the system, which is very important because everything as it were now, is done in the old way. You call about 5,000 candidates for a written exam, you find a way for them to do that exam, and then you invite another couple of hundreds of people to come and mark that exam manually, and then you go through other things, which makes the process very long, to the essence that for me personally, I found the opportunity to come for this conference as a kind of relief. Otherwise, the first day we started the oral interview, we started as early as 8 o'clock in the morning and we closed at 8:30 in the evening. And this is something that we'll have to continue doing for the past 1 week plus. It will actually end on Monday. Now, Professor Olopa unfortunately did not give me any speech to deliver here. When I was coming on Monday, I asked him, Mr. Chairman, is there any speech that I need to deliver to the Chartered Institute? He said, no, unfortunately, he had wanted to come, but because of the exercise we are going through, he said he has not prepared any speech for me to deliver. So whatever I'm saying here is not professors, it's coming from me. He said to me, Aminu, look, just go, you are a former foreign service officer. I know you can be able to say something to the audience. But I said I was facing a very sophisticated audience of board members. He said, I know you can do it, just go. So that is what I'm trying to do right now. Maybe just briefly for, those who are not conversant with the Federal Civil Service Commission. The Federal Civil Service Commission of Nigeria is an independent body established to oversee recruitment, appointment, promotion, and disciplinary actions within the Federal Civil Service. The Federal Civil Service Commission plays a role in maintaining the professionalism and efficiency of the Nigerian civil service, ensuring that government ministries and agencies are staffed by qualified, competent personnel. The Commission operates under the authority of the Nigerian Constitution and the civil service rules and regulations, which are our main guiding principles for whatever we do. The main functions that we do perform, are as follows. We are in charge with recruitment of officers into the Federal Civil Service, for ministries, and this is a role that for some time now, because of the embargo government placed on employment, there has not been much activity. But we are pushing, that government should give us the opportunity, at least reduce the pressure, in the society to recruit some young people who are out there, waiting for employment. It is obvious now that government cannot do it like in the past, like what we enjoyed, Immediately you graduate, maybe the next day after your NYSC, you have a job waiting for you, like what happened to me. Now you have graduates that keep waiting for a job for upwards of 5, even 10 years, waiting for a job. So we've been pushing government to allow us, open the space, even if it is in little quantity, to start the recruitment process. The next role we play in the system is we are in charge of appointments and promotion. That is managing the appointment process for various levels of position with the federal ministries and promoting officers based on merit, which is what we are doing right now. It is something that in the past, most people find a little bit contentious, but luckily for us now, the current commission, government is very deliberate in selecting the commissioners as the commission. Right now we have we have 3 retired permanent secretaries, including myself, the chairman, and 1 other commissioners. And we have about 4 former heads of service from the various states representing their state, and then some retired directors, from the federal service. So the government is very deliberate in selecting people of integrity, people who can come and hopefully reform the system. Luckily for us, having Professor Onopa as our chairman, who always prides himself not only as a professor, but as a reformer. We are at it now. We are about a year old in the commission, but I assure you that we have achieved a lot. And we look forward to, before the end of our tenure in the next 5 years, the civil service will have been reformed to a level that is, within the global system, that we can all be proud of. One of the main tasks before us, as the commission, is to make sure that we change some of all things that have been done manually. We want to digitalize the system from recruitment to promotion and other activities of the commission. Like right now, the exercise we are conducting for promotion of officers, if only we make it a computer-based system like it's been done everywhere, we could finish it in a matter of weeks. But we have been doing this thing for almost 5 months now, 5 months, and continuously. Every day we are out early in the morning for one aspect of the promotion exercise or the other. But the commission is determined, and we are pushing government to give us the necessary funding to digitalize the system. In this vein, I would like to appeal to the organized private sector. If there is any way you can come and assist the commission, we very much welcome it. We are not looking for money. You can pick one aspect of what we want to do and do it for us. That will help. Because if you have a good civil service, it is good for the private sector too. So we solicit your assistance. If there is any company here that feels that there's something they can do for the Civil Service Commission, we will welcome it. We are also charged with disciplinary action in the system, in the civil service. We enforce regulations and ensure accountability by addressing misconduct and disciplinary measures where necessary. This is a very important task we perform for the civil service, because if you don't sanitize the system, you leave people who should not be in the system to continue to be there, and all the bad things that we don't want will continue to be done. But there's a process whereby if any erring civil servant goes out of his way, there is a system that disciplines that person and ensures that the system is sanitized. We also, as part of our role, we develop policies that enhance skills and encourage professional growth within the civil service. which is very important too, so that the system and the service will not remain stagnant, for years as it has been in the past. We try to, and with Professor Olopa as chairman now, I assure you that in the next few years, we will all see a lot of changes in the civil service. I'm seeing that I should round off my speech, which I will do, which I've already done, but I assure you, you are lucky that Professor Olopa is here. He will try to compete with justice, if not more, because each time we have our meetings, we'll spend like 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes receiving lectures from him before we continue with our meeting. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our special guest of honor, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf, represented here tonight by his senior special advisor, Alhaji Usman Bala Mohammed.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على النبي الكريم. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, ably represented by His Excellency the Deputy Governor, the retired Chief Justice, or Justice of the Supreme Court, sorry, the President and the Chairman Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Directors, the representative of the Chairman, Federal Civil Service Commission, other distinguished leaders of industry, captains of commerce, esteemed members of the Chartered Institute of Directors, and other honored guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And a very good evening to you all. I'm here to represent His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, Engineer Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf. His Excellency, the Governor, had wanted to be here personally to grace this important occasion. But because of intervening state matters, he is unavoidably absent and has directed me to present him and extend his message of felicitation and goodwill. And I'm going to deliver his address to this esteemed gathering. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you this evening in company of some of the Nigeria's finest minds in business and governance. The Chartered Institute of Directors has consistently set a benchmark for excellence in corporate governance. And tonight's gathering reflects the power of partnership between private and public sectors. As leaders, we stand at the crossroads of immense potential and transformative change. In a nation as diverse and dynamic as Nigeria, our role as visionaries and custodians of progress has never been more crucial. Our businesses are the engines of economic growth, and our government role is to create the enabling environment for those engines to run effectively, efficiently, sustainably, and inclusively. The theme of this dinner, that is government-made business, could not be more fitting. It speaks to the partnership that must exist if we are to unlock the full potential of our economy and meet the aspiration of over 200 million Nigerians. Governance and business are not separate. They are two sides of the same coin. What affects one directly affects the other indirectly. This interdependence calls for deeper collaboration, smarter policies, and shared values that prioritize the collective good. Tonight, I want to address these critical pillars of success for Nigeria's future. One is building trust through transparent governance. Our administration recognizes the trust that is the foundation of any successful partnership. We are committed to creating a governance framework that is transparent, accountable, and people-centered. Policies that foster ease of doing business, eliminate bureaucratic bottlenecks, and encourage investment must be a priority. Kano State, for instance, is creating avenues for increased investment in agriculture, technology, and infrastructure, ensuring that the private sector thrives alongside public innovation. Two is driving innovation for sustainable development. In today's fast-evolving world, innovation is no longer optional. It is essential. Nigeria's ability to compete on the global stage depends on how we embrace technology, streamline processes, and foster creativity. I strongly believe that through strategic partnership, that is the public-private partnerships models, we can drive sustainable solutions in areas such as clean energy, waste management, and digital transformation. This collaboration will not only create wealth, but also address the social and environmental challenges that our nation faces. The third one is empowering the next generation of leaders. Our collective responsibility is not only to lead today, but to ensure that we are grooming the next generation of leaders who will sustain and elevate what we have built. The youth are not just the future, they are also the present. By investing in education, mentorship, and creating job opportunities, we empower them to take the reins of leadership and push Nigeria toward unprecedented heights. Ladies and gentlemen, as we engage this evening, I urge us all to think beyond our immediate sectors and consider the broader vision for Nigeria. Let us look at how we as government and business leaders can work together to create a future that is inclusive, prosperous, and resilient. We must embrace the spirit of innovation and collaboration, breaking down silos and forging partnerships that benefit not just the elite, but every Nigerian across all walks of life. In conclusion, I want to assure you that my government is committed to working with the private sector to achieve these goals. Together, we can create a Nigeria where opportunity knows no bound, where governance is efficient, and where businesses flourish in a climate of trust and mutual respect. I thank you for the opportunity to address this esteemed audience tonight, and I look forward to a fruitful partnership and a shared journey towards the Nigeria we all envision. Long live Nigeria, long live our partnership. Thank you and God bless.
the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, FCIoD, ably represented by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Kadri Obafemi Hamzat.
Good evening, everyone. The former Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, thank you very much, sir. The Deputy Chief of Staff to the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Sam Egube. The President and Chairman, Governing Council, Chartered Institute of Directors, Alhaji Tijani Bodo, and his very amiable wife. The Chairman of 2024 Annual Directors Conference, Honorable Justice Amina Adamu Augi, CFR, JSC retired. You know, every time I see you, I'm always elevated because you're always laughing. So the stress of Nigeria is not on your head at all. You're always, happy, projecting happiness, and God continue to bless you. Past President, Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria, here present, Director General, CEO, Chartered Institute of Director, Mr. Bamidele Alimi, Captains of Industry, esteemed fellows and members of Chartered Institute of Directors. I didn't mention my brother. It's okay. Thank you very much, the Vice Chairman. Distinguished invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. So I really don't have a speech prepared. However, listening to what has been said, the President, and of course, my Lord said things about policy, inconsistency, infrastructure, deficit, ease of doing business. How has it affected governance, and so on and so forth? But, I'd like us to look at it from a different perspective. Is that really the problem in our country? So, companies have left this country. Unilever, Procter & Gamble, GlaxoSmithKline, they were here when the infrastructure was actually less than today. So you can drive from Kano to Maiduguri, 658 kilometers, third. That was not there 15 years ago, but those companies were here. So, are we measuring the wrong things? So I said you shouldn't leave. And it's because I wanted to share this, so that it's not that it's me that, come and read this thing, please. So this is Newswatch. So I'm sure a lot of people are older than me, my age here, so they know Newswatch when it used to be here, right? So Newswatch magazine was when I was in university, I was in UI from 1980 to 1985. I will read this magazine every week. It's like my Bible, because it talks about issues that affect our country. So can you just read this one? The year. Here, come here. I'll read it, please.
Someone should just take a picture of
Sorry,
me.
go ahead, just read it. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Well, I hope the man can.
22nd August 1988.
Yes.
Japa started before we were born. The Great Exodus. Nigerians in search of greener pasture. The archive.
Yeah, please read it.
The archive of Nigeria's history has taught me that if you think the present is terrible, the future can get worse.
1988. 1988. So it says the Great Exodus. Nigerian in search of greener pasture. So people have been living before. It's not new. It's not. We've been living. And it says the archive of Nigerian history has taught me that if you think the present is terrible, the future might get worse. 1988 February. I have another one. Beyond Reach. 13th February 1989. Beyond Reach. These are food. I think this is tomato, this is cassava. So it says cover Beyond Reach. Staying alive in Nigeria is getting costlier. And costlier as citizens face the nightmare of SAP and the shrinking value of Naira. This is another one. How to make it work. December 1987. He said, sadly, all the 1987 economic intervention policies crafted by Samuel Aluko Uma Oke Eleazu, Green Onyekaba, Nwako Abubakar Abdulkadir Aliko Mohammed, and Inebi did not yield any tangible progress. The decline get worse. So what am I saying? What exactly are we measuring? And what are the solutions that we are profiling? It seems to me that we are measuring the wrong thing as a people. So we are looking at solutions that doesn't solve the problem. So this was 80s. I saw a newspaper. What's that newspaper in the north that was very prominent? The New Nigeria. In 1971, talking about the same thing. 1971. So, I don't think we would want our children to also talk about the same thing. So if that is the case, what is the problem? And what are the things? And my Lord said something like holding people accountable. Holding people accountable. The challenge is we don't hold ourselves accountable. And you said it somewhere. Somebody said, you said, do your part, maintain your lane. It is called maintaining your own lane. So we all criticize other sectors. I have a friend who are in UI together. In fact, we are classmates, and we are in the same in Amdiazikiwe Hall. They are all professors now, and we are discussing. Well, okay, everything that you have discussed, how does that affect the fact that our universities are like this? As a professor, how is it that our girls are complaining that in order to get marks, you need to harass them? So you solve your own problem. Leave the others alone. You just clean your own environment. So if we all clean our environment, this country will be great. This country will just be great. And it's as simple, and we should not deceive us. The budget of Lagos 2024 is 2.3 trillion, 2.27, let's say 2.3 trillion naira. Now, the next one is Rivers, is 700 billion. So look at the gap. Now, that 2.2 trillion is how much? It's $1.4 billion. It's small, though. The budget of New York State, population 19,571,000 as of 2023. The budget is $237 billion. Can I say that again? The budget of Lagos, 27 million people and counting. Because every day over 6,000 will come in and only about 3,000 will go back with no known address. So it keeps increasing. Because of people, people want to live a good life. You can't blame people for that. But our budget is $1.3 billion, the highest in the country. The next one is less than half. Right? In fact, it's about 1/3, which is Rivers. But the budget of the state of New York, less population, 19 million, is 237 billion. So a lot of times, you receive text. I keep receiving text. I need help. I'm a widow. So I was now wondering, how many widows do we have in Lagos? No, I'm serious. So I like data. I like data. So, to be honest, I jackpot before. I left I finished my PhD in England. I went to United States. I worked with Morgan Stanley and the rest. And I came back, of course. But the bottom line is that if you look at what we do right, you know that Nigerians, like you said, we are the best. We are just the best. How do we now harness that? That is the challenge. Now, I was talking about widows, right? I spoke to two professors in University of Lagos and LASU. I said, can you even just find a way? You are a sociologist, so it's your job. I need to know how many widows do we have in Lagos. Can we do it? I said, yeah. What did we find out? There are widows, but the husband are still living. There are widows. It's truly in hundreds. So I think as at the last count when I said, look, I'm enough, it was, I think, 138,000 women. A high percentage. The men just leave. So a man has a wife, 3 children, 4 children, 5 children, and you just leave. Say, I'm just going to go and marry another wife, to go and, are you crazy? So those are the problems in this country. If we don't solve the family unit, if we don't solve it, nothing will work. All these policies, they are good. But every nation, every community is built on the family unit. Now imagine. So you now have a single mother, and the man is just cheating. And you know the interesting thing? When you see the names of those men, they go to church every Sunday. They go to mosque every Friday. What are we telling them? That it's okay to have children and just abandon. We must fix it. So you will look at nations that we say, we Nigerians, we like to say saner climes, as if we are not sane here. But in those saner climes, that's why they have children protective services. So the budget of children protective service in New York State is 5.5 billion. Let me say that again. So that's bigger than the budget of Lagos, Rivers, Oyo State, Ondo State, Ogun State, and Katsina. The budget for child welfare, out of that 237, 5.5 billion is just to make sure that the children don't get abandoned, that the children, if you can't take care of those children, they will take it from you. Can we, my Lord, can we do a law that enforces that in our country? And then we will not use religion to say, I'm a Muslim, I can marry this, I can marry that. Those are the issues. So we deceive ourselves if we don't look at those fundamental issues. How is it that a 10-year-old is on the street? I've seen it. I've seen it. We go sometimes 2 a.m. and you see a 10-year-old sleeping under the bridge, for God's sake. Where is the young boy doesn't even know the name of the father. It's Baba Sunday. But what's your father's name? Okay, you don't know. Why did you leave? Real life. Real life story. Why did you leave? Well, my parents beat me. They don't like me. Are you sure? Okay, what do you want to do? So the problem is, you take these children we have facilities, but it's filled to the brim. And what Lagos State does is we write to governors of the various states. And then one of the candidates politicize it. Is that politics? So I'm saying that we should look at fundamental issues. How do we raise family in Nigeria? How? What law can we do? Well, what is it? My take is, if we don't get it right, we will miss it. And it doesn't have to be, these are not necessarily children of the poor. Please don't think so. Middle class, very rich parents. There are parents, a principal was telling me, high top school, that she just noticed that there is this child that every time is either the house help or somebody that comes to the school, even when there's parents-teacher association meeting. For 3 years, the parents never showed. And they are fantastic. I mean, they are paying school fees of 4 million, whatever. So it's not about class. It's about responsibility. So my take is that we must look at how to bond and build a unit that can lift this country. Infrastructure, the reality is that a lot of our infrastructure is better than Tanzania. If you go to Gerantadi, where you see all these animals, the runway is not tarred in Tanzania. The runway where your plane will land is not tarred. Do we have a runway in Nigeria that's not tarred? It's all concrete. You land like this, you feel, you shake. But they maintain it, they compact it and so on. So the problem is not enough infrastructure. The problem is not policy inconsistency. Nigerians are brilliant. We have policies, we have this. The problem is how do we hold ourselves accountable when you do something wrong? A lot of businessmen in Nigeria cannot operate anywhere else. Because here we saw social media where somebody just think because he's a member of some house of something was slapping people. You can't do that anywhere else. So the question is, how do we hold ourselves accountable, and how do we maintain our family unit? How do we maintain our lanes? If we do that, I'm sure this country will be great again. Because let's think about it. People say taxes. Well, when free education was introduced in Western region, which changes the life of a lot of people, my father wouldn't have been able to go to school without free education. That's the truth. Taxes was increased by 40%. 40%. The sets of, I don't know if people saw that clip. The first set of students that went to those schools, they went to school naked. They don't have enough money to buy clothes. I don't know if people saw that. They were 17. 3 of them later became permanent secretary in the federal ministry. That was because they do. So, can you do that today? So it's not about, that's how nation, we just saw the British budget. Starmer just increased the taxes by 59 billion pounds to say, look, we are broke as a country. So it's not much about taxation. It is about us as a people, like I said, maintaining our lane, making sure that your corridor is clean. If we all clean our corridor, I'm a professor, clean my corridor. I'm a judge, clean my corridor. I'm a politician, clean mine. I'm a businessman, clean my corridor. This country will be great. I thank you very much.
Once again, it is very clear that the music from this conference is play your role, I'll do my part. And that is exactly what the governor himself has expressed this evening. Once again, can I ask that we give him a round of applause? Indeed, it is time to eat. I may invite His Excellency the Governor of Lagos, represented by Dr. Bafemi Hamzat, and I also invite the President, the Chairman of the Council, the Institute for the presentation.
On behalf of the Governing Council, Your Excellency, we present this to you. I would hope that the message you have passed has been passed across properly. You must measure the right things. Thank you for every representation, apart from your own personal touch to it. We thank you most sincerely. This is for His Excellency, the Governor.
Come on, yeah.
Today, he's been recognized for his exemplary achievements by the presentation to him with the honorary fellowship of the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria. This award reflects the admiration for his integrity and dedication to advancing governance and ethical leadership. Please join me as I welcome the President and Chairman of Council for this presentation.
Mr. Oyebanji, the First Vice President, can you join me here, please? The DG, can you join us here? And may I say all protocols observed? And then I want to invite actually Awagu, my distinguished past president, because he's the chairman of the Fellows and Award Committee. May I invite you, please? Ladies and gentlemen, the Chartered Institute of Directors, on very rare occasions, look through the Nigerian society and look at people who are fit and proper to be fellows of this Chartered Institute. Some of them are not our members, but because of their distinguished career, their past, their present, and their contribution to our society and our country at large, we normally have honorary fellowship. And this year, the Chartered Institute of Directors has found Professor Ibrahim Gamari as fit and proper for us to make him an honorary fellow of our Chartered Institute of Directors. Actually, Awagu is the chairman of this committee. It's a thorough process. So, Professor, we're highly honored to make you an honorary fellow of the Chartered Institute of Directors. Thank you very much, sir. For honorary fellow, sir, a few words from you. Thank you, sir.
Well, Mr. President, Chairman of the Governing Council, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly and respectfully observed, which is a contradiction because it means you are not actually observing the protocol. But I just want to say thank you very much for this honor. Of all the titles that I've been privileged to acquire over the years, director was never one of them. So you have now corrected that, because the only time that I was a director was Director General of the Institute of International Affairs, and that lasted for only 4 months. Before I was kicked upstairs to be Minister of Foreign Affairs. But I'm very privileged to receive this honor, and I want to assure you I'm not going to give a speech. I've been speaking to this country and for this country for 40 years. I think that's enough. I want to spare you that, but to just thank you very much. One last thought, and which is this. In one of the offices that I've been privileged to hold, which was at the United Nations as chairman of the Special Committee Against Apartheid. And one thing stuck in my mind, that when I was sent to South Africa to ascertain whether or not apartheid was truly dead, I called the captains of industry and I asked them, how come that you were the pillars of apartheid? You supported the apartheid regime. Now you are all ANC members. What happened? And he said to me that, well, we used to say before that the business of business is simply business, not politics. But we now realize that the true business of business is to stay in business. The true business of business is to stay in business. But don't wait till other people create the environment to stay in business. You have to be part and parcel of governance so that together you can create the environment where you can stay in business. Good luck and God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We highly appreciate this. Thank you, sir. So, sir, thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite our next recipient of the Chartered Institute of Directors Fellowship. Please welcome Mrs. Yvonne Isiche. Mrs. Yvonne Isiche.
Yeah. May I ask the SVP and IPP to kindly join us? For SVP is second vice president and IPP is immediate vice president, while Tunji here is the first vice president. Yvonne, I will ask the first vice president to do the presentation on behalf of the Governing Council. First vice president.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think Mr. President wants to do a bit of training this evening. So on behalf of the President and Council, it's my distinguished honor and privilege to present this Fellowship Award to you. You have served the Institute in many, many areas. We worked together, I think, last year on one committee, and your contributions, as always, were outstanding. I think this honor is very well deserved, and therefore it is my honor and privilege once more to present it to you. Congratulations.
Well deserved. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Well deserved.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Honorable Justice Amina Augie, CFR, retired Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
Ladies and gentlemen, my Lord, can I have the permission to ask the second vice president to do this? Thank you, my Lord. The second vice president, can you do this presentation on our behalf?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for giving me this distinguished opportunity and honor to bestow this award to my Lord. My Lord. I've known my Lord for many, many years. Most people don't realize I'm a lawyer. I started as a lawyer, my career as a lawyer. So this is a really big privilege for me to have this opportunity to be on the stage with you, to share the stage with you, and to thank you for that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lecture. I can call it a lecture that you gave us as chairman of this occasion. Thank you so much. I mean, you've been a role model for us women in the legal profession and for the men as well. And you continue to inspire us. And we look forward to all the great things I know that you are still going to do, even though you have retired. You have so much energy, you know. But every time I say I'm tired, I just think about her and I just have to get up again. It's fantastic. Thank you so much.
I've spoken so much today. All I can just say is thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. And thank you for honoring me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Picture.
Was that I should feed myself. Yes, I said, they brought me all the way.
I think there's one more. That's true. Two more.
Is it done?
Two more.
Huh?
I need.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Senior Special Advisor to the Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf, the advisor being, please welcome Alhaji Usman Bala Mohammed.
This is presentation to His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf, ably represented by Alhaji Usman here, who is a Senior Special Assistant. Alhaji Usman, you've done proper representation. We have heard the words of His Excellency, who continue to work with his government and other governments in this country for that matter, because this country belongs to all of us. And we must complement the roles we play between the public and private sector so that we take this country to the level it belongs. Thank you. You are most welcome. It's our honor to present this to you on behalf of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Directors. Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite on stage Ambassador Aminu Nabegu to receive this on behalf of Professor Tunji Olaopa, Chairman, Federal Civil Service Commission.
Ambassador, may I ask my predecessor, the IPP, the immediate past president, to do the presentation on behalf of the Governing Council, my IPP.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President. It's a great pleasure to make this presentation to Professor Tunji Olaopa, Chairman, Federal Civil Service Commission, on all the work that we are doing for this country. And we pray that you will take this commission to greater heights in no time. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Can we give them a round of applause as they go back to their seats? Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you in the hands of the DG and CEO, Mr. Dele Alimi, to move the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's been 2 wonderful days of learning and networking and looking at the faces, beautiful faces, and what people I see here this night. I'd actually wondered whether people will be able to make it for the dinner after the long day we had. And you cannot imagine how elated I was when I saw another full hall this evening. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can you please give yourself a round of applause? I really appreciate you all for attending this dinner. Specifically, I want to thank, on behalf of the Institute, first, in absentia, the Governor of Lagos State. I really don't know how more he could have honored the Institute. He was here personally yesterday for the opening session, and he sent his 2IC, his deputy, to represent him at the dinner. What else could we have asked for? Please, ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for the Lagos State Governor. I want to thank also specially the chairman of this dinner, Honorable Justice Amina Aogi. We appreciate you for coming. We appreciate your contribution. We appreciate the way you have infected us with your wonderful character. I just don't know how anybody can be moody or sad around you. You are an epitome of happiness. And I really appreciate it. And I tell you, it is one thing I'm taking away from you tonight. No matter what, I'll keep smiling. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for coming. You've been wonderful. And your address was so apt and it touched everyone's soul. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for coming. I also want to thank the governor of Kano State. Since the day we sent this invitation, he had told us, I will be there, but you know how state affairs are. I cannot assure you that I will be there personally. But I will do my best. Worst case scenario, I will be represented. And he kept his words. So we do appreciate His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, for being with us tonight. Kindly give our appreciation message to him. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the Kano State Governor. Thank you very much for coming. I also want to, on your behalf, thank His Excellency, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, CFR, not just for today. I won't say more than that, but I know he understands, and our elders here in the Institute also understand how Professor Gambari has contributed immensely to the development of the Institute. We are going to give this honor to him in October, but as usual, he was very busy with state duties. But he said, give me another date and I will make it. And I think 3 days ago, the prof was in Cairo. 2 days ago, he was in, is it Zambia? But today, he is here. Just because he wants to honor the Institute. Thank you very much, Prof. We really appreciate you. I also want to thank a good friend of the house, Alhaji Ayatollah. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. We appreciate the support you have given the president right from the day he was inaugurated as the president. And you've been there all the time at every of our event. Thank you very much. And of course, I extend this appreciation to your amiable spouse. Thank you very much, Ayia. We appreciate you, ma. I also want to thank our past presidents. I want to thank, well, I would say representing the doyen of past presidents here this night. I can say that with all authority. Ms. Benedicta Moloku, thank you very much, ma. Thank you very much for coming. You are here for the entire 2 days. We appreciate you. I want to thank Architect Thomas Awagu and his amiable spouse. Thank you very much, ma. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. I would like to also thank Chief Mrs. Eniola Fadayomi. Thank you very much for coming, ma. And of course, my distinguished past president, Femi Ekundayo. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. And of course, right there, past president, Ahmed Rufai Mohammed. Thank you very much for coming, sir. Thank you very much. I saw past president, Chris Okunowo, a few minutes ago. Maybe he stepped out. I want to also extend our appreciation to him. And of course, the immediate past president, who is still serving. My immediate past president, Dr. Ije Jidefa, thank you very much for coming, ma. We appreciate you for supporting your successor very well. I would also like to extend my greetings to the chairman and members of the planning committee of this conference. They've done a great job. I've worked with them all through the way, and I know the sacrifice they've made to make this a success. I want to say thank you to you all. Incidentally, our chairman is absent here this night because she had to travel, but I'm sure you all here know what she has contributed to make this a success. So I want to, on behalf of the Institute, thank the chairman, Mrs. Fatumota Koka. Well, she cannot be more represented here by no other person. She is represented here by her husband, Dr. Koka. Thank you very much. Please extend our greetings to our chairman. Thank you. The vice chairman is here. Able vice chairman. When you think doors are locked, this man opens them. I tell you, and I'm saying it with all authority, when you think doors are locked, he opens them for us. Thank you very much, Otuba Ashiru. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. I thank all the council members, those from Lagos, those from Abuja. Alhaji Lamiz Diko, who wears 2 caps here today, is the advisor of the committee, having been chairman of this same committee for about 3 sessions. I want to thank Prince Dapo Adelego. I want to thank Honorable Oluwanuga, all the way from Abuja too. I thank you very much. I sincerely hope I've not omitted anybody. I thank all our council members who are here. And of course, our office bearers, the 2 vices of, the vice president, first vice president and second vice president. I wasn't the one that described you as the 2 vices of the president. The president told me that. I thank you very much for the support we've received always. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I also want to thank my colleagues in the secretariat. We had, apart from the National Organizing Committee, we had an in-house committee that was ensuring that whatever decision is made by the National Organizing Committee is properly implemented. And that committee was led by the Secretary to the Governing Council, Mr. Kenya Nwanebo. I can't see him in this hall. Wherever you are, can you rise up for recognition? Thank you. You can see it's still standing. It's still working. Thank you very much, Kenya, and your team. Our head of programs, Ovos, they did great jobs. And the tension was less this time around. Thank you very much, every member of the committee and all my other colleagues in the secretariat. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for coming. I look forward to seeing you at the 2025 Annual Directors Conference, which is going to hold in Abuja. There is a special prize for anyone that is here today and is also able to make it to Abuja. The president is looking at me with one corner eye, but don't worry, you will not be the president then. So I'm safe. I am safe. So if the gift is not given, we are not going to hold you responsible. I look forward to receiving you all in 2025 at the next Annual Directors Conference. Let's make it a grand event again. The Institute will do its best to put up a very wonderful event. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and have a very nice evening.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is lost and found. It's a power bank, lost and found. It will be at the Secretariat just yesterday.